Hello guys, I'm back with the final lesson, final part of this video series where we create venue management and real estate management page. And today we will handle Google Maps, the map. And this is actually the first part where I kind of cheated and created that already to save you time because I was experimenting with JavaScript and that Google Maps API and all of that. So I will just show you the final result. And also we will take care of the menu items here on top and footer and some pages like about and content. So basically some cleanup. And now let's go to Google Maps thing. So what we need is in venue page, we need to show the map and coordinate of that exact object. And in the database, we have these fields, venues latitude and venues longitude, which are randomly generated. And our goal is to show the map on that exact coordinates centered, and it would show where the object is. And we need venue blade PHP, and inside of it, this is the part that's the block for the Google Maps that I've added. Actually, let me center, yeah, so this one, that is what we need. Another class row with call 12 by bootstrap classes, and this is some JavaScript. And to be honest, I'm not a big fan of JavaScript. I'm not a front-ender myself. I'm core backender with Laravel, so I use JavaScript by tutorials mostly, and jQuery and Vue.js if I need that. So this is the snippet that I found from one of the older projects, and I will explain that in a bit. So here we have div with the map itself, and then we load the map with latitude and longitude of the same venue. Default zoom is 10, and the bigger is the number, the bigger is the zoom, like the closer is the object. It goes up to 16 from what I remember. And then we initialize the map with center variable with the same coordinates, and add a marker which is JavaScript object with name, latitude, and longitude. Actually, that name isn't really relevant, so we can remove that one at all. And we create the maps lat long coordinate and add that as a marker here. So it's pretty straightforward when you read the code. It was pretty difficult to write reading all the API docs. And to make all of that work, you need API key from the Google Maps, and this is an important part. And this is what will be related to Laravel. I will show you down below. In the same venue blade, I have section, and I've added the section to my front blade. So in front blade, down below, we have a lot of JavaScript from the original theme. And then we will add another section, yield JavaScript, which means that front will yield whatever JavaScript section from whatever blade file that it extends. Not extends, what's the word? Yeah, extends. So this venue blade extends layouts front, and one of the section is JavaScript, basically, which means that this one will be loaded inside of venue at the bottom. So that Google Maps API key, it comes from env file from Laravel. I've put it here like this. And this Google Maps API key can be taken from, let me open that. This is the documentation, developers Google.com. You can copy and paste it here. Well, type because it's video. And you go to your credentials, and tricky part is that you have to add credit card. Last time I checked, not sure how it is now, but it is free up to, I think, 10,000 use per month or something. It's pretty cheap. Well, it's a good free plan, but still you have to add credit card. Well, basically enter the payment plan, and then you may start to be charged for big usage. And we did have that in one project with clients, so it was free up until some number. So be careful with that. That's important. You need to have restrictions on the API key. So that API key would be used only from some domains or by some refers or with some condition. Otherwise, anyone that would see this one could use that on their domains, and I would be charged for that, for example. So I've restricted that API key. Right, so this is the JavaScript code for the Google Map, and I will refresh that again for you. It came down to pretty random point in, let's zoom out, in what continent? It's Africa. Yes, that was total random number. Actually, if we go to some other property, let's put this one. Let's see where we land, on which continent and which city, maybe somewhere in the desert. In the desert of same Africa, right? Okay. Well, anyway, Google Maps is working. You can enhance that with adding some pop-up window on click. I didn't do that because, well, it's not part of this project. And now let's get to cleanup phase of the whole thing that we've created here, and then I will put it all up on GitHub. So for this, I will leave that as they are, all those links to phone number, email, and social icons. They don't lead anywhere at the moment. Maybe you would want to fill that in with your credentials. But the menu is pretty important. And a logo also, I won't change it because it's an image. Actually, is it an image? Good question. Home space. Let's see if it is an image. Actually, let's look for home space. Oh, it is a text. Awesome. So we can change that to config app name. And it should be Laravel or venue management. I don't remember. Knowledge base. Oh, I've copied that even from another project. So if we open our env, it's knowledge base, of course. So it should be venue management. Actually, the sequence is config app name goes to config app php, and there is a variable called name, the first one, which takes either app name if it exists, or if it doesn't exist, then it would show, Laravel. So for example, if we delete that part, app name, and we refresh that, it should show Laravel. Yep, so here's another kind of lesson on the fly for you for configuration. So we've changed that name, great. Refresh back, yeah, venue management. And the menu items, let's change menu items to show some, I don't know, categories or something. And here I will actually violate some rules of MVC because in theory, in the blade, you shouldn't have any database operations. But for this simple example, I may be okay with doing something like for each location all as location and do it like this one. Otherwise, we would have to get those somewhere in view compose, I think it is, or in some service provider, or load in session or something like that. And we need it only here, so it doesn't really make sense for me to overcomplicate stuff. So instead of by, we do location name, and route will be, from what I remember, let's open our web PHP, location slug, and the name is location. So route location, and parameter is location slug. Right, so we would have locations which shouldn't lead anywhere, but let's lead to, for example, home page. Home would be, actually we don't need home because it should be on the logo. So locations, and let's put event types as well. So event types, app event type as event type, and we copy all of that here. So event type name, route event type. We don't need blog, and we do need about and contact. We will create those pages now. But let's refresh the menu items for now, and let's see if it works. Yep, locations, all of those locations. Let's click on London, for example. Location London, that works. Event type conferences. It should show venues for conferences, great. And now let's take care of these ones. It will be just a simple route, for example, route get about. And we won't even need the controller for it. About will be function return view. Actually, I think there is a function route view now from Laravel 5.8, I think, something like that. Route view about, and the view name is about, and we still can assign a name. I don't remember the syntax, but let's try it out. So route name is about, so everything's about URL, that's URL, that's the view name, and that's the route name. And let's create, instead of our home blade, where's the home blade? Yep, so home blade, we do file save as, no, actually not the home is wrong, event type is shorter already. So event type, save as about blade, and let's change the text, so about us, and the text will be call 12 with lorem ipsum or something. So we don't need for each here, we don't need links here, we just have some text here about blade. And in the menu we need to change the front blade to route about here, and let's try it out. Refresh. Route exists, no errors, /about is the link, and if we click it here, yay, it's kind of funny to make it work, make something work from the first time. It's quite a rare case. Usually there are some bugs or something. And now let's continue that. Let's copy and paste that to contact. So contact, route name would be contact. Then we will file save as contact blade, and then contact, we will change the title, and finally copy that here, route view, contact is the view name, and this is the route name. Let's refresh that again and click contact. It should work, yeah. And down below, what we can do here is also navigations. This is pretty irrelevant, so let's change that to front blade. Down below it's not navigations, let it be locations again. And again, I will violate some stuff here about project. Again, I will, actually, let's change that. So I would do that for each locations all as location, but since we are using it in two places, this is pretty inefficient. So I'm forcing myself to do it properly now and get it to controller, but not even into controller. For now, let's do it this way. So route location slug and location name. Let's see if it works first. Right, locations, this works, and then instead of these four we will have route about and route contact, and delete privacy policy in terms, just for the reason that I'm not in the mood of actually doing them. By the way, license is important. We are using theme by color lib, which cannot be removed if you use that for free. And refresh, and these should be okay. And now let's change that final thing of location all, not coming from the blade, but instead it would come for the whole project, because the theory is we should move that to controller, but to which controller? Because we have a lot of controllers, so we should repeat that in every controller. Probably not. So we will get that into another layer of code, which is view compose. And here I found the Laravel documentation for view composers, it's called. So in your service provider, you can register a class, a composer, which is attached to some URL. And then in that class, you can assign any variable you want. So any blade file, any URL, I think it's URL, will come with this variable, and you can assign whatever to it. And this documentation sounds pretty complicated, and also the example of view composer, view service provider. View service provider is inside of vendor folder by default. So I think there is a shorter way. So all we need, in fact, is this one. So view composer attached to all the URLs, and we will assign the variable, and we will add that to app service provider. App service provider. In boot, we will do this. So view composer, view. I think it's eliminate view. Let's try it out. So view composer, and we will do view with locations or global locations. Let's put the variable global locations, location all. Right, okay, and now we have this as a variable everywhere in the blade, and let's remove that and try global locations. Fingers crossed. I'm not sure if it would work or if we use the right view facade, but let's test it. As expected, view composer does not exist. Okay, let's get back to the code and see what other view classes we have. View, I think facades is the right one. Actually, let's change that facade view here, and then view. Right, no, wrong here. Refresh. And yay, we have our locations here, so we can remove in front blade. We can remove here on the top. We had locations as well. So here, and also event type will be global event types, and we will register it in the same place. So view with global locations and view with global event types, event type all. Refresh again, and nothing should change. Event types are still here. So basically that's it. This is the final stretch of our project. I hope it was useful. I will put it up on GitHub for you to play around with. I will remind you that the credits, what I've used here is Homespace theme by ColorLib. Actually, let's click it and see what they have. So ColorLib, it's WordPress themes, but not only WordPress, also Bootstrap. Also, I used our quick admin panel, which is a quick admin panel generator for CRUDs and admin panel. So check that out if you want. Also, I've used what else? Not much actually. PHP Storm, which I've paid for. Yeah, so if you have any questions, shoot below in the comments, and if you have any ideas on what live project should I build in the future, yeah, also let me know, and see you guys in other videos in the future.